army has given me. The, the whatever has been given to me by the defense services and what I am today, I think I largely owe that to the defense forces. Now, having said that, I am also aware that in the environment there are a large number of myths, and there's a large number of information which is floating around about SSB as to what is SSB. There's a confusion. There are a large number of players in the arena today. There are a large number of people who wish to reach out to the aspirants and they want to talk to them. They want to tell them as to what is SSB. So what is happening as a result is that we are getting an information overload. And that is something which we need to guard against. And this is my caution to all the aspirants, that when you are actually looking for a mentorship, what you should be looking for, I'll talk about it later. But let me tell you firstly, what is SSB all about? Now, quickly I'll do it. I know most of you have got idea because you've watched the videos. There are so many videos that tell you what is the sequence of event which happened, what is the thing. But the bigger picture I would like to tell you, and that is what you must understand. First thing is, SSB is not a test. That is something which you must bear in mind and just note it down. Because when the moment you say it is a test, your connotation, your mentality, the way you prepare for it is entirely different. It is not a test at all. It is something of a personality assessment. That is what we are looking at. We are looking at you. We are not looking at what you have marked up, what you have preconceived, and what you're trying to project what somebody else has told you. That's a primary difference. And we are looking for some officer-like qualities in you. And those qualities, we make a big thing about it. Most of the people say it's a big thing, but let me tell you what are these qualities. These are nothing else but qualities of a good citizen, a good youth, somebody who has grown up with optimism in his life, which grown up with something which he's been doing practically all through. He's a responsible citizen. He's an obedient son or a daughter. He's an obedient brother, or he's a caring son or a caring daughter. These are what we are actually looking for. And if you try to transpolate the officer-like qualities which we have already trying to tell you, these are nothing else but actually, if I do a comparative analysis with you, you'll realize this is something which you should be having. Otherwise, if you have to be called a good person, that is what I'm trying to say. Besides that, we are looking at a well-rounded, well-balanced personality. A person who's grown up, who's interested in his environment, who's interested in his surroundings, who's very observant, and he is there to help people. He has good interpersonal skills. He is a person who's always there to help. He's there to take on the kind of initiative to be there for the people. That is the kind of qualities we are looking for. And if we are looking for these, if this is the skill set we are looking for, this skill set is very different from any other interview process which you are looking for in the country or anywhere else. Because here, the interview, we are not looking at the right answer. Firstly, let me tell you that. We are looking at the most appropriate answer which fits your personality. We are looking for a candidate who's not the best, but the right fit for the defense services. So there is a big difference in the attitude by which you need to prepare and need to approach the service selection board or for joining the defense forces. Having said that, I'm also aware in today's world, most of you are coming up, growing up with a support system right from your childhood. You know, you have tuitions even at primary classes today. You have tuitions even in higher secondary. There's no question a PCM student is coming out without tutorials. So what has happened is, what has gone into your mentality is that if you want to achieve something in life, you need those extra tutorials, or you need some kind of a mentoring, or you need some support system which is in addition to your school syllabus. Now, the similar thing is happening with the SSBs. While we do not want you to be, sort of going in for some kind of a mentoring, but what has happened with you is your confidence levels are so low when you come, in case you have not been mentored, that you think that you can never clear the SSB. So therefore, it has become almost mandatory for everybody to get at least an introduction or an insight into what SSB is. Now, if you want to do that, then mentoring becomes important. But my, again, a sincere advice to you is, when you're talking about mentoring, please be very careful as to what you want to learn from the mentoring sessions. If you have not understood the mentoring, and if you're not taking out the best of what is required in that, if you're not intelligent enough to understand what is the thing, which is the crux of the whole thing, I'm afraid you will not be able to do well in the SSB still. So therefore, my suggestion to you is, the most important thing which you can do if you want to prepare for an SSB, or you have to come for the SSB, is start preparing as early as possible. Start doing few things on your own before you go for a mentoring also. And that is, start reading a lot. Start reading books, start reading magazines, start reading newspaper, enhance your knowledge. That is the most important thing I'm telling you. Second is, please start looking after your physical fitness. You need to be physically fit when you're coming for that thing. Third thing is that you need to improve your communication skills. What we have found in the SSB is, most of the candidates who come, they lack their confidence because they are not good in communication. So if you're not good in communication, your complete persona, your complete personality takes a beating, and that is where you lose out in the SSB. So you have to improve your communication skills. And the last thing which I would like you to do is, in the communication skills only, is the interpersonal skills. Try to understand people, try to be with people, try to empathize with people, try and understand people and be with them. Be a people's man, be a friend of friend. Those qualities are going to really help you a lot in the SSB. So this is what I wanted to do and tell you. And for the last couple of months, we have been interacting with Lieutenant Commander Sadhana. She is a champion for the women cause. She's been doing a lot for them, and she's been interacting with me. And she says, "Sir, why don't we do something which is, very authentic, very personalized, very, something where we owe a responsibility when we are mentoring somebody. It is not that we would like to take on mentoring of somebody and disown it. We would like to get involved 100% and see to it that that person actually progresses in his life or her life. Otherwise, it is of no use. If you come to me and I mentor you, and for a couple of days you see me and go, I don't think so. That is the aim of what we want to do. So we have been deliberating. Our team has been deliberating on it, and after a lot of thought process, we have come together, and we have decided that let's take it on and let's give it back to the youth. There are lots of candidates who on Insta handle, they keep on requesting me, "Sir, please guide me. Sir, please guide me." So I thought it would be a good idea, in case we can get together a very good team, a dedicated team, a team which is actually looking not for a financial gains. We are not looking at that actually. We are looking at something, if we can create a difference in somebody's life, if we can give it back to them, and if we can make them, empower them and make them achieve success and their goal, I think that's the biggest satisfaction we are looking at. So that, with that aim, we have all come together. And in the series of that, today I thought I must come in front of you, talk to you, listen to you, your worries and your questions, and take it on. I don't want to speak more. I can carry on if you wish to. But what I'm trying to tell you is, please approach SSB as a wonderful experience of your life. Do not get stressed. Do not get tensed. do not think that it is something end of the world if you don't make it. That is one very, very sincere advice I'm giving you. If you go with that mindset, I'm sure your performance is going to be much better than what it would be otherwise. So with that, I think I'd like to close my opening remarks to you and whatever little I had to tell you. And I would be very happy to take on question answers in case you have. That is about it. So thank you for listening to me and thank you for coming on the webinar, because you could have been doing anything today. The fact that you've been on a webinar and you're here, that shows that you are keen to pursue your goal. And if you have taken this step, I think you've done a wonderful thing. So my compliments to all of you. And now I'm open to questions.
Yeah. So prior to taking the questions, how we go about it, everyone raise your, whoever wants to ask question, raise your virtual hand, and one by one, I will call out that name, and whoever I'm calling out, unmute yourself and quickly ask your question. So that's the way to go, so that we can take number of questions and we can resolve all your queries, as much as we can. All right, so Ritika, let me take Ritika.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. And ma'am, I would like to ask sir that how can we improve our communication skills, like communication improving, including power of expression. Ma'am, how can we improve that?
Okay, Ritika, how are you?
Sir, I'm good. Sir, how are you?
Good to see you here. Okay, Ritika, I think the better person to tell you about this is Lieutenant Commander Sadhana, because she is an expert in personality development and communication skills. So I would request if she can take on your answer. I can also do it, but I think she's the better person to answer your question.
So what I will do, Ritika, let's first ask all the questions which are related to interview, because sir's time is limited, and this is after so much of, I had to take his appointment and fix this time up, and I'm always available for you all. I will take one more slot for personality development and communication skills. Definitely, a lot of you keep on asking me. I will take that. Ritika, don't get disheartened.
Sure, no problem.
Let's move on to another individual, another candidate, and I can connect with you later, or I can host another meeting like this for personality development. All right, Virendra Chauhan. Virendra? All right. I'm only going to call twice. Okay. Cadet Tarun.
Jain ma'am. So
hi,
my question, ma'am, is related to that personal interview.
First of all, let me tell you all one thing. It is not good manners that instructors are sitting like this. People senior to you all, and such respected people are sitting here, and your camera is off. Why? Please switch on your camera and then ask your question. Yes.
Good evening, ma'am, and good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So
good evening.
my question, sir, is related to personal interview, sir. Sir, I went for the NDSSB on April. So,
Yes.
sir, my interview went around 60 to 80 minutes, and the rest of students was around 40 to 50 minutes. So, what could be the reason behind it, sir?
Okay, Tarun, this is a question which is often asked, and this doubt remains because SSBs don't give you a feedback on it, but I'll tell you. The thing is, you see, the interviewing, generally the personal interviews last for about 40 to 45 minutes. That is the usual time. But in some cases, like what happened with you is, probably you were not coming out with your personality completely. There were some elements of doubt in the mind of the interviewing officer, and he wanted to give the benefit of doubt to you. He wanted to cross-check whether what he has found about you, is it right or not? And he will not leave you till such time he is completely satisfied with his assessment about you. So when such a long interview takes place, the fact is that you have not been able to communicate, or you have not been able to convey what exactly is your personality. And he's finding some problem in your personality, and he wants to again cross-check, give the benefit of doubt to you, and he will ask you cross-questioning and cross-questioning till such time he's satisfied. So that probably is the reason why your interview was longer. There's nothing to worry. That means you were really okay, but there was some chink in you. And if you work hard and if you go back again, probably you'll be able to do it. So I hope I've answered your question. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
I hope your question is answered.
Yeah, he's happy with it. He told me.
Yeah, he has to be, sir. All right, next we have Harsh Pratap Singh.
Jai Hind, sir and ma'am. As I'm in class 11th, how can I boost up my NDA interview strategy to clear NDA class 12th appearing attempt? That will be my first attempt.
Okay, Harsh Pratap, your question is in two parts. If you want to appear in 11, that means you still need to clear the written UPSC examination for the NDA. So you have to know what is the preparation strategy for the written exam. And then in case you clear, then only you will be going for SSB and how to prepare. So if you're in 11th, if you're determined, if you really want to go, then what I suggest to you is that please pick up the syllabus of NDA as to what is the syllabus, go through it completely. Please pick up the old question papers and model and the papers which have been there, mock papers also there. Please pick them up and read them, understand what is the syllabus and what is being asked in the written examination. Once you get that, then please prepare your own list of topics and subjects which you need to work very hard and the ones which you are completely satisfied. Tarun, please put your video on if I'm speaking to you. Please keep your video on. I want to...
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, oh, you're Tarun, actually. But you, where's the...
Harsh, where are you?
They both are together, I think it says.
Yeah, here he is. Can you see
Okay.
Mr. Harsh Pratap Singh? So
Okay.
the rest of you can keep your this thing camera off. Only those,
Okay.
just so that we can see that person.
Okay, so I was telling you about your written exam. Please prepare, then you start preparing. And I would recommend that in case you are not very good in academics, if you are really not comfortable, then you may look towards coaching for written examination. There are a lot of coaching centers. I will not. So you may like to take a coaching for written examination so that you make yourself sure that you clear the written, okay? There is, mathematics is very, very important. It's a difficult thing to clear the written. Okay, now let's come to the SSB. Now, while you're preparing for the written, I would like you to alongside concurrently start preparing for SSB. And that I told you earlier also, I told you the Guru Mantra. Please start reading books, start reading newspapers, start reading magazines, enhance your knowledge, watch some good videos which are knowledgeable, read some articles on general awareness, keep yourself abreast of things. At the same time, start doing up physical exercises of yours, become physically fit and start improving communication skills. That is essential, I'm telling you. That's the most essential thing. And interpersonal skills, I've already told you. So you have to start concurrently. Don't wait that I'll clear my written, then when I get SSB call letter, that's the time I'll start preparing for SSB. That may not be the correct strategy. Start preparing from now onwards. So this is what I want to tell you. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, sir. Sir, thank you.
Thank you, Harsh, for asking question. And let's have
My
another.
pleasure, ma'am.
Yeah, let's have another person. Virendra, I called you out before also, in case you are ready.
Good evening, sir. Sir, if a candidate tells you that he taken coaching, so sir, what themes you will make about him? Like is a good and it is a not good, sir.
Okay, it's a very nice question you asked, because this is a question which commonly, this is something which goes on in your mind. Okay, now let me tell you. Firstly, even if you don't tell the assessor that you're taking coaching or not, he will get to know that you've been coached. Let me tell you that. Assessors are very, very competent people. And the moment you start doing whatever action you're doing in the GTO ground or in the site, when the folder is being seen, or when you're in front of IO, they get to know. They may just cross-check to see something in you. If you have taken coaching, please admit it, there is no harm. There is no harm. We do not take any offense to your being coached, please. But the thing which we are objecting to, or the thing which will go against you is, in case you're not using your brain. You see, coaching is a guidance. Now, if I give you an answer or some suggested answer, it may be true for you, but it cannot be, one answer cannot fit 100 candidates. It has to be different. So as long as you have been able to modify that answer and improve yourself and make it, which is in context to your personality, and then speak, I think you've done a great job. And therefore, you must have seen that a lot of coaching academies, when the candidates go from there, for the SSB. They're doing extremely well. They clear it. So if we had anything against coaching, nobody would clear, but they clear. So we don't have anything like that. And you can be quite comfortable in saying that, yes, I have taken coaching. There is no harm. I hope I've answered your question.
Very good.
All right. All right. Next we have Somashekar.
Good evening, ma'am, and very good evening, sir. Sir, I
Good
have
evening.
very good evening, sir. I
Yeah.
have a bit sensitive question regarding the SSB.
Yes.
So, is the SSB is only focused upon introspecting our personalities, or is it really upon discovering our personalities? Because when I attempted my previous SSB, fortunately, I did have one of my batchmates with me. He was my college classmate. I am very sure that he is not competent as me because I had seen him since a long time. But he was successfully able to get screened in and get recommended. But unfortunately, despite of putting hard work efforts for a long time, I was screened out. That was quite indigesting for me. So I really want to know that is it just impersonating sufficient enough to clear SSB? Because I try to inculcate these qualities from every nook and corner in my daily practice of life, and I'm very successful with that. Although my assessors have valued a good rating for my type of expressions, I was not able to clear the first round of SSB. Please clarify this doubt.
All right. Okay. Somasekar, firstly, hello to you. How are you?
I'm very fine, sir.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Now, you asked a question which must be in many candidates' mind, you know. That is your feeling that somebody who didn't deserve or didn't
Yes,
work
sir.
very hard and he got through, and you worked very hard and you actually try to inculcate all that officer-like qualities which are seen there, and still you were not able to even clear the screening. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, this happens in many times. Now, the point which I'm trying to tell you is, you know, SSB is something which is, firstly, you shouldn't doubt the decision taken by the SSB, because they are not at all biased towards anybody. Let me tell you that I can assure you. And we are quite transparent about what we are doing. But after all, it's a selection process, and there may be, you know, some filtration fault which may have taken place and which you feel that you have not made it in the screening. That can happen, because I do not say that any system is 100% true. So I will accept that point of view. But to say that the other person didn't deserve it, that is your assessment. That is not my assessment or assessment of the thing. That's why I told you. Now, I'll give you my own example. I went for the SSB with 4 days notice. I didn't know anything about SSB. All right. And I really enjoyed my SSB. I went for first time, I went to Allahabad, and I didn't even know what SSB is all about. Let me tell you one thing. There used to be no screening that time. That was the only thing.
Yes, sir.
But I'm telling you, when I was in front of the interviewing officer, there was never a thought which crossed my mind that I have to give this answer this way. The only way I knew how to give an answer was what I am. Now, people may say that, how did he get through? He didn't deserve, he seems to be very, you know. So it's a quality which is being seen, and those assessors are very, very experienced. and they are able to see through you. You see, anybody who tries to show that he's the qualities, his chances of getting through are very little. I don't want you being made up there. I don't want that to happen at all. Please be original. Please be what you are. Please be what you are inside, outside also, and what you're outside, please be inside. If you do that, your chances of getting through are much brighter. And don't worry about other getting through and I'm not getting through. Don't lose heart. One odd time in the screening, it can happen, you know, where the screening is very heavy. If there are 500 candidates gone in, after all, you're human beings who are testing you, they can go wrong. But by and large, the system is very, very fair and very, very good. Time tested. I hope I have been able to answer you.
Yes, sir. Regardable. Thank you.
Okay.
So I will add to this now. So there are three different assessors, and they are testing you on three different levels. As in, they are seeing the same qualities from different ways. Psychologist is seeing through those psychological tests. GTO is seeing those through those group tasks and group effectiveness. Interviewer is seeing from a different way, you know, by interviewing you, by questioning you, and all that. So all three, the findings of all three have to gel. अगर gel नहीं हुआ तो फिर आप नहीं हो पाओगे. तो अगर आप बोल रहे हो कि impersonate किया, अगर show off किया, you know, जो नहीं है वो project किया, it cannot happen. फिर psychologist पकड़ लेगा. You understand? Or always remember, it's a gospel truth. मनसा वाचा कर्मणा, मन से, वचन से और कर्म से. और ये यहाँ पे जो ये ट्रायंगल है, ये तीन एसेसर्स हैं, ये यही देखते हैं, मन से, वचन से और कर्म से. ठीक है. जीटीओ वो आपके एक्शंस देखता है, मन आपका साइकोलॉजिस्ट देखता है, वचन इंटरव्यूअर देखते हैं. So don't forget these things. This is a gospel truth. ठीक है. Nobody can get out of SSB by projecting something which they are not.
I think that's, thank you very much, Lieutenant Commander Sadhana. I think you put it very nicely. I think that is very important for everybody to understand.
Yes.
Very important. Yeah.
All right. Next we have, let's take a lady, Padmavati.
Sorry, I'm coming back to my office. Is my voice audible?
Yes, yes, it is.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am. So my question is like in two parts. Yeah. So I got recommended once and twice conference out. So I could easily see the drastic difference between the performances of mine when I got conferenced out as well as recommended. So my doubt is, in conference where I got recommended, they asked me technical questions in the conference as well, and certain situation kind of thing also. In the interview also, my interview was completely technical based. There was no current affairs. I mean, there was no such question. That is like why it could have been. That is one doubt. And another doubt of mine is, when I was conferenced out twice, the GTO two times, like different GTOs in different boards, they asked me, did you take any coaching? I didn't take any coaching. Like till date, I didn't take any coaching. So when I got recommended, this question was not posed to me by the GTO. So I don't know what was the difference, like for them to ask such questions. And yeah, this is my doubt.
Okay, Padmavati, I think a very nice question you asked, because this is something which happens first time, you know, once you're recommended, other time you're conference out. Many a times you may be screened out also. That is also a possibility. So first thing I would like to tell you is that we are not generally influenced by your previous performances. We do not take that into consideration at all when you come for SSB. What we are looking at...
Sorry, sir, like the correction is twice conference out was before. Recommended was the latest one. Yeah, after that, I'm yet to go. Yeah.
Whichever way you put it. There are candidates who get recommended in the first time. They do not make it in the merit, and when they go next time, they are not recommended. First time they were recommended, second time they are not recommended. That also happens. It is a reality. It is nothing, I'm not telling you a fiction. It is actually a reality. And why does it happen? I'll tell you also. You see, what happens is that we are looking at a performance on that particular day. We are looking at you then. If you are, and if you're able to improve yourself, and if we find that you have the requisite qualities which we are looking at, we will recommend you. There's no question of taking into consideration that what happened in the previous time. We will not do it. And that's the reason there are many candidates who come 6th time or even 12th time, they made it. You know, famous Captain Batra, which was so famous in India, Dil Mange Mo. You know in which attempt he got through?
It was 12th of his SSB. Like
Yes,
12th
12th attempt. So let me put the perspective straight in front of you. And now the question which you asked is that is that the GTO who asked me that if you're coach and that's why you didn't make it? No, I wouldn't say that is the reason for it. Possibly you were doing things very well. He may have had a little doubt that how come you're doing so well. So that may be a question which he must have posed to you. But overall, your assessment must have not allowed you to get through. Now, when you come to the interviewing officer, when he asked you technical questions, and even in the conference, they asked you some questions, I'll tell you. Did you go for a technical entry? Did you go for Short Service Commission technical?
I went for logistics of Navy.
Navy, okay.
Whatever question, like I'm working in my technical field itself. Like I'm working in Ashok Leyland, I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm in design department. So I think technical was started by then, but there was no current affairs. So why till conference it came, I don't know.
Okay, I'll tell you something. You know, the thing is, when your conference must have been longer than the other candidates also. Am I right in that?
Little bit. Like, yeah.
So what happens is that conference is also one of the techniques. It is the 4th technique of your assessment. And that is the first time when all 3 assessors get to know as to what is their assessment. Nobody knows before that. Let me tell you that. It is just before you're called in, the 3 assessors actually convey to each other as to what is their opinion about a particular candidate who's coming. So once what happens is, you know, sometimes what happens is some quality I may have an objection or I may have a little doubt on you. So I'll put you into a category where I'll say, okay, let me ask the other 2 assessors as to what are they, have they also found a similar thing? And if they confirm, then in any case, whichever way it is, whether you're going to be recommended, you will be recommended or you will not. In case there is some conflict of the thing and there is an element of doubt left, then the chances are that you will be put through in the conference to a little longer questions. And that is why you were asked a synthetic question. That is the situation. There was some kind of a doubt in the mind of the assessor, one of the assessor, I don't know which one it is, but the question must have been asked by the IO because he's the one who will ask you. And he must have, then after you must have left, they would have taken the final decision whether you have to be recommended or not recommended. So that is the reason. So don't get worried about these things. Why it happens, why not it happens. It is all for the benefit of the candidate. We are trying to give you a benefit of doubt, always. That is how it is. Okay?
Definitely, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, next we have Khatri, Vet Khatri. Please, all of you, this is a request. Write names, you know, proper names of yours, and not you know, superficial names or not the phone names and all that. So it will be easier for me. Vet Khatri, whatever is your name. First.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Jain, ma'am, for giving me such an opportunity to introduce myself and my questions to sir. My name is Rahul Khatri, and my question is, sir, related with my previous SSB. Like I was literally waited for around 2 hours before my interview, and during interview, my interviews last only for 25 to 30 minutes. And sir, just touches the PIQ form, like your highest achievement in your sports. Like I played 2 games, and my academy was also good. Academics were also good. So sir asked just about any back you faced during academics related question. Mainly, sir, focus on the GTO task, what you performed, how others performed. And literally, sir, he asked me around 3 questions, like how you prepared this time, and what is the difference between previous SSB and this time SSB, and how you are self-rating between psychology test and GTO test. And later on the conference day, sir, again asked same 3 questions. So, sir, what does it mean? So please clarify, sir.
All right, okay.
Because in my batch, sir, everyone have around 1 hour, more than 1 hour interview, and I was the only one who faced only 25 to 30 minutes, around not more than 30 minutes, sir.
All right, okay. What did you say your first name was?
Sir, I was waited for around 2 hours.
No, what is your first name? What is your first name?
Rahul Khatri, sir.
Rahul, okay. Okay, Rahul. I got your question. You got a doubt as to why I was only interviewed for about 25 to 30 minutes and why the questions which were asked were not the usual questions which are asked in the interview. And while others' interview lasted for an hour or so, why in my case it was 30 minutes? Okay. Now, you were a repeater. I'm sure you must have gone, this must be your attempt.
Sir, first time I was screened out, and this time it's my second attempt, sir.
Okay, all right. So what happens is generally, I'll tell you, the interviewing officer has some kind of an idea about you before you actually go in. And if he's an experienced one, he may have done some research work on your PIQ. He's not going to ask anybody. He doesn't ask GTO. He doesn't even know who's your GTO. By the way, let me clarify that point. He even doesn't know who's your psych who's testing you. But he may have done his own research work and things like that. And when you must have come, you see, many a times the IO is a guy who's really, he's the right person to actually ask you what he wants to ask at that time. He would have made up his mind. He would have thought about what he has to ask you, and that's why he asked you that much. And in case he was clear within that 30 minutes that whatever he wanted to check about you, whatever queries he had about you, and whatever he wanted to see about you, he would have made up his mind in that 35 minutes. Okay, I'll tell you something. Sometimes we get to know the candidate within 15 minutes, that what he is. We are absolutely clear. But we generally try to give him that much of time because we do not want him to go away with the feeling which you got that why only 30 minutes. He may have been pressurized for time or something like that, but let me assure you one thing, he would have actually found out what he wanted to find out, and his all probes, we call it probes, we probe you, and if he's got answers to that probes, he would have left you. And it is not necessary to ask you all the questions. By the way, it is not legislated that I have to ask you all the questions which you've gone prepared for. IO has got his own way of doing it, so don't get worried about that. Now, why others are being for 1 hour, why is this thing? Look, I already clarified. If you heard my earlier answer, I told you that at times it takes. Now, I'll give my example. I was interviewed only for 14.5 minutes. Just 14.5 minutes. So please don't get overawed by these kind of things. Okay. And now, why the same question was asked in the conference hall? One of the assessor must have had a little doubt on you, and the IO must have given him his assessment, and he must have said that, okay, if you still have a doubt, let me ask and let's see what is the responses. And you must have given similar kind of responses, and he must have proved the point to the other two assessors that this is what it is. So that is how it is. Don't worry. Work hard. Do introspection. Improve yourself. The best thing I can tell you is improve yourself and go. Take another chance. All right? I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
All right. All right. Good. So next we have Chetna. Please raise your hands. I think Chetna had raised her hand. Okay. In case you're not ready, Chetna, I'm going to Prakash. Prakash B.
Good morning.
Good evening. Not audible. You're not audible.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, now you're audible. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, I have a doubt. My academics was not so good. I'm just in first class only, but even my sports, I try to attend some sports, but even that I could not spend more time on that. But I have the eager of being an officer, so I try as much as possible. I also trying that. It is if it is affect my SSB, sir, if my academics and the sports are not so good, the type.
Okay, Prakash, I got your question. Sorry, I did that. Now, the query which you're asking is that you think that you're not good in academics and nor have you done anything achievable in your sports or extracurricular activities. Okay. Am I right in understanding? That is what it is? Okay. So
yes,
now, so now the point is, when I told you in the beginning, if you were listening to me when I spoke that first 5, 6, 10 minutes I spoke, what I said was that we are looking at your balanced personality, isn't it? We are looking at balanced personality. Okay. We are aware of, where are you from? Where are you from?
Sir, I am from Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, sir.
Okay. So you are not from a rural belt. I hope you're not from rural belt. Are you? I couldn't hear you.
Unmute, Prakash.
Yeah.
No, sir, no, sir. From city only.
Okay. Now, okay. So I got it. Now I'll tell you. The point is, Prakash, what happens is that when we look at you overall, we look at you that you're coming from a place which is reasonably developed. You have facilities and you had all the wherewithal to do whatever you wanted to. There were opportunities in front of you and you could have done it. But yet you have not done it. Right? That means the reason why you didn't play sports is because probably you were paying more attention towards your studies. But if you're not done well in studies and you're also talking about that I couldn't play sport because of the studies, then it is also not a good idea. It's not giving a good impression. So just because you've not done well in your academics or not done well in your sports is not a criteria for not being selected for the SSB. No, it is much more than that. And you know, it may be, it must be coming out in many other places where you have shown that kind of, you know, lack of determination, lack of initiative, lack of opportunity, use of this thing which is there. So that is what must have come in your way. So what I'm trying to tell you now is that forget about that. That is not what we are looking at, and that is not the point for rejection. What we want you to do is that please get up from there. Failure is part of life. Making mistakes is part of life. How do you get out of it? Have you lifted yourself up from there and then improved yourself? If you can do that and if you can project that, I think you can still make it. So don't lose out. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, I think we've lost him, and I believe, sir, you definitely have answered.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's move on to ladies, girls. You can also ask. Please don't shy away. Raise your hands and come on. Don't be shy, or please make the best use of this. You know. Say, who should I call? Okay, Ritika, you have any question related to interview? Please go ahead.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Not yet, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. Priyanka is having her interview, I believe, in September. Priyanka, you may be having some doubt. Come on.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yes, sir. I have my interview on 1st of September.
All right.
In Bangalore. So, sir,
Okay.
the last experience was like, sir, I was really not prepared about the interview. So I know the reason why I was not able to make it there. And sir, this time I think I am preparing my best. And actually, right now I don't have any question because I think my preparation is going in right direction. So,
All right.
So would you like to give me some suggestions? What should I avoid and how can I that in a right direction.
So have you taken any kind of mentoring? Have you?
No, sir. So coaching like not, but I have not taken any coaching. But sir, now I am getting a mentorship, taking a mentorship from Major General Yashmur sir.
Okay.
His latest course was BOAC, so I'm a part of BOAC 1. So I think his guidance is also supporting me, helping me to reach a correct way. So I
All right.
think.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, and you're going for which entry? Are you going for short service
So this
technical?
is a special entry, yes sir. This is special.
NCC special entry. Are you going for that?
Yes sir. Yes sir.
All right. Okay. So my suggestion or a tip or an advice for you would be that in this, because it's a non-UPSC entry, and so you should be prepared to take on current affairs questions in a big way.
Yes,
you will be subjected to current affairs questions in a big way. My the point which I'm trying to tell you, and please understand that when you are tackling a question like suppose today is Afghanistan, crisis in Afghanistan or something, and if you really wish to make a good impression about yourself, then please go into the depth of the thing. Don't just read superficially, and don't say this, I'm forgetting the name or I'm forgetting that name or something like that. My recommendation to you would be just start reading few articles about it. Watch some YouTube videos. There are a lot of YouTube videos on it. They would have shown you a map in that. They would have shown you neighboring countries. They would have given you a little bit of, perspective from the international point of view. And what is the perspective from India's point of view? So if you're able to understand as to how to tackle that question, that is very important. It is not just answering. We would like to see how much of, what kind of when I say personality, that means how good how good are you at actually understanding the situation and then giving your analysis. So please start reading that way. The second thing is please start reading about the Army or Air Force, whichever this thing you're going, because you're NCC certificate holder.
Yes.
And I have read all your question papers. I've read your books. What is the syllabus of yours? And generally, IOs know what is your syllabus. They may subject you to some questions on arms and ammunition and about some equipment of the Army or some organization. So please be prepared for that also. Rest, what I want you to know is that just go and enjoy your experience. Go with an open mind. That is, I tell to everyone, because I don't want you to be stressed, because most of the candidates are stressed out there. And stress doesn't allow you to perform the way you actually can. It cripples you, actually, I'm telling you that. So please don't do that. And just go and enjoy. And if you think that you're on right line, I would not like to tinker you or give you some suggestions which may unnecessarily, confuse you at this stage.
Yes,
please go ahead in your direction. You're confident. I'm very happy. And please go and do and perform well. But one thing you must know, you have to do exceedingly well in SSB if case you want to make it in merit. There are very few vacancies. And large number of women get through the SSB. And I found them, they're very good. My experience is, as Commandant, when I used to interview them, they're very good. So you'll have to be very, very good to make it into the merit also. So please work hard.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right. Next we have Harshita.
Jai Hind, sir. Jai Hind, ma'am.
Jai Hind, Harshita.
Sir, my question is regarding CDS. So when we clear CDS, we are not allowed to see our marks or check our marks. So why is it so? I just wanted to know about it.
Are you talking about the written examination? Are you talking about writtens? Harshita?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I wouldn't really know why they don't. But I think nowadays they're showing you the marks
So they showed one when they released the merit list. Then only will come to know.
This has been from time immemorial. I know it. Even during my time, they never used to disclose the marks. Even for India, they don't disclose. It is only when the final list is made where they give you the weightage for your SSB and the written, and then they disclose it. I really don't know what is the reason, but I can make a very, very learned guess. And this would be a surprise for most of the candidates, but I must disclose it because there are a few things which I know inside what happened. The percentage which you get is very low. The belief system in people is that it is a very tough competition and we cannot make it. But the fact of the matter is, sometimes they have to lower the red line so low that they don't want people to know that we have actually sent those people also for SSB. The performance in the written examination is not very good. This is my experience. That this is what what I've learned from interaction with the UPSC when I was ADG manpower. We used to tell them that why can't you, why is it that you are not sending us the requisite number of people for SSB? So when I interacted with them, they showed me the thing, and there at times in some subjects, even person who's got 17% is allowed to come for the SSB. So probably they don't want to disclose that. That is maybe the reason. It's only a intelligent guess I'm making, but I'm not 100% sure about it. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
That was your question, Harshita. Anything
Yes,
about the interview you want to ask?
Ma'am, right now I don't have. If I have, I'll raise the hand.
All right. Okay. All right. Next we have Sumit.
Good evening, sir, and good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Sumit.
Sir, actually, my height is 6'3" and my weight is around 105 kg. So, how much it can affect my selection at my SSB, which is scheduled next month?
Okay, Sumit.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask you a counter question? Suppose you were going for any interview,
Yes.
not SSB.
Okay.
And how do you think there are other people same age? What is your age?
25, sir.
25. If you see other 25 years old, even maybe an inch or 2 inches shorter than you, but if they are just about 65 kgs or 70 kgs, how do you compare yourself with them when you go for the interview? How would you feel about it when you go? Normal interview.
I will feel very low after seeing that.
So you've already answered your question. The point is, it is besides what I feel about you, you yourself won't feel good. And if you do not feel good, your confidence, your self-esteem, everything is going to be very low. And if it is low, the chances of your selection are very low either. If you are not convinced that you can become an officer, how do you expect me to be convinced that you can? If you yourself is not. So that is it. So my suggestion to you is, please reduce weight. It is not only required for the SSB, it is when you are doing GTO tasks, if you're overweight, if you're not your body is not in shape, if your muscles are not toned up, you're likely to injure yourself. And you can injure yourself bad. You can have a fracture, you can have some permanent damage to you. So my recommendation to you is, please reduce as much weight as you can. And start doing exercises, tone your muscles when you go. So that is what I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. All right. Next we have Gokul Nair. Okay, so Gokul, this will be a last question because we've already crossed the time limit and we can't go any further than this. I tried my best to take as many questions as possible, and sir is also very patiently answering them. So one last question, and that will be from Gokul.
Thank you very much for giving me this chance.
Sure,
a very good evening, sir.
Good evening. Gokul, can you put your video on, please?
Okay.
Sure, sir. Visible, sir?
Yeah.
Sir, my question is, sir, currently I'm doing my master's in organic chemistry from Chandigarh University.
All right.
So, sir, I'm aspiring for this AEC, Army Education Corps.
All right. Okay.
So, actually, I want to ask that, is there any difference between SSB for other entry and this entry? Because since it's a technical one, so.
All right. Okay. Let me tell you, Gokul, there is no difference in the SSB. The same process will be followed for you also. That's a 5-day process. You will go through that. Only thing is that the nature of question which may be asked during the interview by the interviewing officer may change a little, whereby he may ask you some technical questions about the subject which you are doing MSc in. That is all which would be changed. Otherwise, it is going to be entirely the same process which will be there. It will be the same. And the other thing which I want to caution you is please check up whether the AEC entry is still going on, because there are very few very less intake into AEC now in the Indian Army. It's not a very regular entry now. It is only very rarely they advertise for the AEC. So please be a little mindful of that. But I hope I have answered your question.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Welcome. You're welcome.
All right. So that's it. That's it, guys. It's over now, and I'm going to connect. Yeah, there are more questions in the chat box as well. So would you like to take one?
Okay, we'll take. If it is an interesting question, I'd like to take it on. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So.
Somebody who's not asked earlier.
Yeah, somebody who's not asked, please put your question. There were a couple of you who were asking. Please quickly write your query here, ma'am. If a candidate is merit out, he will get a chance to serve in JCO rank.
I'm reminded of what happened with me when we went as second lieutenants through the unit when we joined. As part of breaking it into the unit, one of my postmates, he was court-martialed. It was not an actual court-martial, it was a fake court-martial for not having been on time to some place. It was all engineered beforehand. And he was court-martialed, and in the court-martial, the decision given by the so-called senior officer that time was that the choice is with you. Either you become a JCO, that is Junior Commissioned Officer, or you go back home. So he said that I'm willing to become a JCO. And for that, he was given a lot of punishment. Please, there's no system that if you made it in the SSB and you have not been able to make it in the merit, that you will be taken as a JCO. Nothing of that sort is there in the offing. I don't see that happening in the near future also. And please don't think like that. It shows that are you willing to actually scale down your ambition in life? So please have a little thought on that. Please don't scale down your ambition. Okay. All right.
All right. So there is a question about how to write SD. So best way to write.
Okay. All right. Who's asked this question, SD, about SD?
There are plenty of them who's putting this kind of question about SDG.
All right. Okay. Now, my sincere advice to you is that in case you wish to write your SD, be absolutely honest when you're writing your SD. And please use the choice of words which you are going to do should be a little selective, in the sense that don't contradict your statements. English is a foreign language. That's the problem, is that without you realizing, you may make a contradiction there. So write simple English and do not try to make it flowery. Do not try to pad it up by saying that you are the best person in the world. Everybody has his flaws, but it depends on what kind of flaws are you actually looking at. So if you ask me a guru mantra for writing the SD is, I'll tell you. please go to your parents, give them a sheet of paper, a good sheet of paper and a good pen. Ask them to write honestly 4 or 5 lines as to what they feel about you. Pick it up. Do it with your friends and do it with your teachers. Collect it. I think you will get a fairly good idea as to what is your SD. And after that, select what you want to write in that. I think that is the best advice I can give you. Because any which way, I'll tell you one thing. When you're writing an SD, if you're writing something which you are not, that will go against you. So be very careful when you write it. Just be modest, be humble, be truthful, and that is what will take you, that will help you in your SSB. I hope I've answered the question of you. That's the best tip I could have given you.
So there was a very general question which somebody asked, that if there is so much of dearth of officers, I mean shortage of officers, then why do candidates not get recommended and they're not in merit list and things like that?
All right. Okay, that is something which I always start my talk with when I talk to people. The ground reality is that all the 3 defense forces are short of officers. Army is the highest, I think to the tune of about 8 to 9,000 now. That is a shortage which we are facing. So is Air Force and so is Navy. It is relatively less in others. The point is, it's a question of national security. The SSBs cannot lower their guard. And you would all agree with me that when it comes to the national security, can we take chances? And should we select a candidate who is not fit to be a leader of the men and jeopardize our security? Can we do that? And should we do that? It's a question for you all to answer and not for us. So therefore, while a lot of you come for the SSB, I'm afraid most of you are not ready, or you do not display that kind of a personality or qualities which we can, pick you up and take you. And I would also like to tell you one thing. It pains an assessor when a batch goes wash out. That day we don't feel good. We are not there to reject you. We are there to select you. But unfortunately, we are not getting the right kind of material, or you're not able to project yourself in the right way. So that is the thing. And the standards cannot be lowered. And I think you will all agree with me that we should not lower our standard. So that is the reason why there is a deficiency in the officers. And that is why the assessors are not being even pushed to select more. We are never put under any kind of a pressure. Because national security cannot be compromised. I hope all of you agree with that point, at least with me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So also the officers and men there handle assets worth crores and crores of rupees, And as an ATC officer, I was handling aircrafts, the passenger aircraft, Boeing and fighter aircrafts, and the men there, passengers, all of that. And so they cannot take chances. That's the reason why they cannot lower their bar. So that's the thing. So, sir, I would not take much of your time now. Thank you so much. I know you have your routine now. You have to go out. Thank you so much for being here. The rest of the questions I will try to answer a few more after you leave. I can do that if I can. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for answering all the questions very patiently, even though some of them were, very basic, very generic, but still you took them and very patiently, very respectfully you answered them. I'm sure candidates, it was a lucky day for all the candidates who were listening to you, because by listening to others' questions, they also, their questions also were answered in certain ways.
Yes, yes.
So that was wonderful. Thank you so much, sir, for honoring my words and coming here and being amongst our youth, our our asset, our country's future leaders. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having given me the opportunity, and I really loved it, enjoyed it, and all the best to you and all the best to everyone here. Be safe, stay safe, and work for your goal with the right earnest. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Jai
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you.
Sir.
All right. So all the rest of you, Priyanka, if you're there, you can share. I will take a few questions, and we also have personality development. A lot of you have questions, and a lot of you keep on asking on Insta handle, my Insta handle. You DM me. So all those who are desirous of doing one personality development course program with me, 10 days program, prior to taking any sort of mentorship for SSB, I think that would help you a lot. A lot of my students have benefited. So you can join in for that mentorship, that personality development program. The link for the payment is given here. Link for the payment is here. So for the personality development for 10 days, we just charging 1,500. And if beyond that you want to go ahead and take up mentorship by Shukla sir or Commander Lily or Lieutenant Commander Nikhil, then you have 3 officers working with you. There's this link for the payment. You can just copy the link, and whenever you feel that you are willing, you are ready, you can just take up this mentorship. Definitely, it is going to be amazing. If you officers working with you, that will be amazing. Yes. So that's the thing. Yeah. So any more questions? Raise your hand, and I will take a few more. Sasanka. Ask your question. Unmute yourself. Sasanka, you're here? Okay, anyways. Let's go to Rahul Kant.
Yeah, hi. Good evening, ma'am. Actually, I have a SSB tech entry next month. So I'm a mechanical graduate, but I'm working in a IT stream right now. So how will the assessor view my change of departments? Like I'm a core field department from core field. I couldn't get into a particular industry. So I'm working as an IT industry person right now. So how will the assessor think of changing my line? And even I justify my reason for that, what would he think of me? Like, how can I prove myself that I am fit for this job?
So that will come out, he will ask certain questions that will show to him that you are passionate about joining armed forces as a career, as a way of life. And there can be 2 different things. Okay? There can be one thing through which you earn your living. So IT can be that. You cannot just sit at home because you're preparing for this thing. You have to sustain, you have to support your family. And the other thing is passion. So while you are earning money through your degree, your knowledge, you're passionate about a career in armed forces. So that's the best way to justify,
Okay.
So there are 2 different things. So always don't get confused.
Okay.
So I can have a passion, but I can also I also want to earn money because I want to sustain. I want to support my family. So that can be anything. That can be anything which wherein I'm exploiting my degree, wherein I'm exploiting my knowledge and experience and all of that. And I can have a passion and purpose. So those 2 can be different. Okay.
Okay.
Answer? All right.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Any other question you want to ask anyone else? Bhairavi.
Question.
Yeah. Jai Hind, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am, I was good in academics, but I am not from a sports background. Like during the school days, I was in a sports, but during my engineering, I was not active in sports. So, like, I want to know what will be the interview's thought process behind such candidates, and it is my first attempt in September. So yeah, I want to know about it.
So don't speculate so much. Okay, what will they think? You think you should have your justification. I mean, why didn't you participate in sports? I want to know.
Actually, I was during school. Yeah, I was passionate, but during my engineering, I was in the other activities. So I was not really into the sports, I didn't thought about it. So yeah, that is the. If to be honest, I didn't give it a much importance to sports. So yeah.
You wanted to score well. So.
Yes, yeah. Academic was one of my focus. Yeah.
How much have you scored?
70.
That's a good mark. Your university?
Sorry, ma'am.
Is it a very good marks in your university?
I'm from engineering background.
Yeah, so whichever university your engineering college is affiliated to, is it a good mark? I'm asking that because some places 60 is a good mark, 60 plus is a good mark. Some places people score 90, 95%. I'm asking that.
Yeah, it's a decent score. I'm from Mumbai University, so it's a decent.
Yeah,
so it's a decent score.
All right. Yeah, I know, I can understand. Yeah, it's a decent score. Yeah, so that is your justification. You wanted to purely focus on your academics. What else? Yeah, and nobody will judge you. Don't worry. Nobody will judge you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Who else? Nisha.
Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, may I ask one question, ma'am?
Yes. May I know your name?
Ma'am, myself, Pawan Koranga.
Huh? Pawan?
Pawan. Ma'am, I have been one time conference out and one time screened out. And ma'am, I have passed my graduation in 2020 and it's been 1 year, almost 1 year. So since that, I was just preparing for written examination as I was an average student.
Can you switch on your camera, please? So I can.
Is this fine, ma'am?
Where are you? I can't locate you. All right. Okay. Okay, you,
so,
you continue.
Yes, ma'am. So I was saying that, ma'am, I have passed my graduation 1 year ago, ma'am. And since that, I am preparing for my written examination. And and I am not doing any job as I don't know coding. And there was shortage in electrical branch for the job. So, ma'am, it will affect my interview that since 1 year you are not doing. And my counter answer is that I was always good at sports and I was always into sports only. I was the captain of university volleyball team and also was the member of football team. And I was at the base of average in studies. So will it affect, ma'am, my interview?
As long as any marks, any kind of marks, as long as you are there standing or sitting in front of interviewer and answering his questions, as long as you have this opportunity of appearing for SSB interview, nobody is going to question about how much percentage you scored. Okay, nobody is going to question on that. So don't worry on your marks and all that.
Ma'am, but it will be a drop of 1 or 2 years and I will not be doing any job or I will not doing any post-graduation.
So you were preparing for, what was it? I just missed a few things.
Ma'am, I am just preparing for, ma'am, that CDS examination and FCAT examination.
Just for that, you dropped 1 year.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all, no? That you have your answer. So I cannot give you your answer. You have to be true to yourself. You have to know what is your answer. तुमने drop क्यों लिया 1 साल का? You tell me. They are never going to disqualify you or penalize you or underrate you if you speak the truth. Agar aapka that is your truth, that will come out, and that should come out. So don't worry at all. Don't worry at all. You can always admit that I was preparing for CDS and I wanted to give my 100% to CDS. That's why I did it.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks a lot, ma'am.
That's I'm not giving you an answer. You find your answer. All
Okay,
right?
ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
I cannot give
Thank you.
your answer. Yeah. Who else? Chetna, do you want to ask any question? I asked you before also. Ankit Yadav. Ankit Yadav. Okay, no more questions. So yes, let me end this, and I hope you've got the necessary details, or you can follow me on Insta and ask any query on DM, and I will be great to answer. And all those girls who want to be part of a great volunteer, a setup which is there, wherein you can develop your leadership skills, you can be in the forefront of creating a lot of content, forefront of brainstorming the present issues that women are dealing with. You're always welcome. It will be great. So we have some great great girls who are already there and who are reaping the benefit of it. They're actually volunteering, they're actually taking a lot of initiatives, and in doing that, they're developing themselves and evolving themselves more and more. So if you want to become part of it, you can just ping me or Kalyani or Priyanka Yadav. I think they're doing great, and I can see a very, very, very bright future for them all. All right. So